Alright, lads and lasses, I'm Eccentric Racer, and I'm here taking a look at Forza Motorsport 7. Now, I kind of realised that, I've been doing a lot of look-backs on Forza Horizon 1, 2, did with 2 reviews on FH5, there's going to be another one, I can tell you that for a fact, because I have a few words about FH5, and then I've done a look back on FM1. I haven't been really doing stuff on the Motorsport franchise. I've got a series going on FM4, but FM7 I've been doing a lot of stuff of, and I haven't really done a proper talk about it, like, a proper review. So that's what I'm going to do, and yes, this is going to entirely contain my opinion. Yours might differ, and that's fine. But if you're going to be a dickhead about it, I'm just going to tell you to fuck off already, right? This is my opinion, not yours. If you agree with me, that's fine. If you disagree with me, that's fine. So, yes, FM7. This is a tricky one, to be honest, because the game at launch was horrible. It really, really was. There was so many problems with the game. They did update it, and the game was so much better, but unfortunately, they canned it after a year, which I think is a huge shame. Because I really do love Forza 7. This, except for Forza Horizon 2, this is my favourite Xbox One generation Forza. I really do love this game, even if it's got many issues that I will talk into. This game of 2017 was horrible. There are a few issues that I will go over across and how they've sort of fixed it. But to those that played the game in 2017 will probably already know, and to those that played the game or bought the game when it was at its end of life, where you can no longer buy off the Microsoft Store, probably won't know what this game was like at launch, because it was so much worse. So let me delve you into a little bit of history. When the game launched, things were a lot different. First of all, this race shop, we had loot boxes in the game. Now, loot boxes I hate. However, in Forza 7, these were done actually okay. For a loot box, they were actually done pretty good, because you could not buy them with real life money. You could only get them with in-game currency. You could not... There's no premium currency in Forza 7. Because they got rid of the car tokens entirely, because who honestly cared about the car tokens? They were just pointless. So, I am glad they got rid of them, because they really, were just horrible. So yeah, this game had loot boxes where you could get boxes to buy cars, suits. You've got these little you've got these little mods which kind of give you little challenges to give you more credit and XP, which are, these are actually really nice. They're good fun. You can have start of race benefits, or you can have, finish the first place and you get extra credits. These I do like. They kept these from Forza 6, and in Forza 6 I found these actually fun. These give you little challenges, and they're not that taxing, and you earn more money for it. So, it was really a win-win. Of course, you could buy driver gear, which, a lot of it was fine. I did quite like that. It's not as in-depth as you can create your own. There's just a set amount of costumes, but, that didn't really bother me, that, you couldn't really customize them. But I'm so glad that they got rid of the loot boxes and they replaced it with this race shop where you can only buy mods, driver suits, or some badges, which do absolutely nothing, but hey-ho. The second issue I want to get across, which a lot of people hated, is the homologation system. For a single player, it was fine. You had certain regulations. So, for example, this Zonda Cinque was a hypercar division. So it had to be on race tyres. 375 tyres could not be more than 375s, and it could not exceed 1,000 horsepower. And that's fine. If I then swap to something like this Plymouth GTX class of street muscle, it had to be on street tyres with tyre widths smaller than 295, with tyre widths that couldn't be bigger than 295s, and I couldn't have more than 450 horsepower. And that was completely fine. For single player, I didn't mind that so much, because it kind of felt more like a proper... It did feel like a proper racing system of you have to build your cars to certain specifications, which was fine. However, what wasn't fine is when they forced this into multiplayer, and that was it. That was absolutely shockingly bad. That in multiplayer you could only do that, which a lot of people complain about. I found it to be an absolute pain in the arse. It was awful. And yes, I'm pretty sure the Rivals had a similar thing. Of there was just these, it wasn't spec challenges. I can't remember what it was, but you just had the homologation system as Rivals. Thankfully, they updated this so you had the class-specific time attacks, rival events, and not only that, the class-specific multiplayer hopper lobbies. As soon as they did that, I mean, it should have been in from day one. The homologation system was just not good for multiplayer. It was absolutely awful, considering we just had, you know, this. Like, you know, it was a cosmetic one or a simulation. That was it. No, sorry, that was just terrible. Once they brought these out, that was so much better. Much, much nicer. And then we had, like, open track days, which I really am a big fan of. You can just mess around in the open airfield. And then I can't remember exactly, but I think you could do drag. Yeah, you could do drag races. There was drifting, I think, got added later. I can't remember. I think all this stuff got added can't remember if it was in day one or if it was added later. Another thing as well, the DLC of this game was kind of all over the place, to be honest. It wasn't the greatest. I mean, you know, some of the Spotlight cars are actually really nice. The free May Spotlight, we got the more updated Indy cars and some of the older stuff. Like, you know, we got the 2019 Indy cars, and then we got one of the Bruno Hawk cars. So we did have some good stuff. McLaren Senna. We got some Formula Drift cars, things like that. Those things, and we did get nice DLC cars, and then other ones there were some definitely weaker packs. Definitely some weaker, some stronger, and stuff. You know, but that's like more of an opinion thing, you know, and you might absolutely love some of these DLC packs, and then, you know, you just think some of them are a little bit naff. So, you know, it's really what you think. Yes, there was a Honda Odyssey that was a DLC car, and it got banned. You know, Maserati Levante, and then we got stuff like this. So, you know, the DLC cars were kind of all over the place. They did start off not that brilliant. I mean, you know, Julian 124, absolutely love it, but and you know, we got some of these cars. So there were some definitely good DLCs, and then other ones I didn't really care about too much. I mean, some of these are really cool, but then I just don't care about SUVs. There was a lot of like pickup trucks and SUVs in this game. So yeah, and then we got a lot of GT cars. So I will talk about the car list now. The car list, it's not the best, because it focuses a lot on the supercars and things like that, and to be honest, if it was like FM's Force car list is still my personal favourite, because it just had, you know, just a whole range of cars, whereas this has a range of cars, but not a lot of base cars and things like that. You know, it has more of your sports cars, saloons, up to supercars, hypercars, stuff like that. But what is here is good fun. There is a lot of stuff. You know, we've got your... I mean, if we look at the filters, we'll go by division. You know, you've got a bunch of classic muscle cars. You've got some early prototype, you know, the 1990s prototype races, or, well, 80s as well. Like, you know, we got a bunch of this stuff. Like, these cars were great fun to see. And then, you know, you got some luxury cars. You got some sport touring. You know, you got the Elite Factory races. These were great fun as well. You know, see a lot of these. You know, you got your usual sort of supercars, the Ford GT, Lamborghini Aventadors, your Audi R8s, Porsches, and stuff like that, and then of course Fast and Furious. And then, you know, you got your 1970s Formula 1 cars, the Lotus 77, the Formula 90s, the Formula Drift, Formula E's. There's actually quite a fair few of the Formula E's. They actually drive nicely in this game. You know, there is a lot of there's a lot of cars in this, and of course you've got a Formula 1 car, 2017 one with 1100 horsepower, and then you've got your Forza Group Rally cars, which are, to be honest, and then you've got a bunch of GT cars, which are kind of a combination of GT3s, there's the GT4s as well, GTEs, and then that, don't know how that fits in, but, and then, you know, you've got your Super Trofeos, so, you know, there is a lot to this, because there is 835 cars in this game, and there is just a lot to it. There really, really is a lot of cars in this game, and there is a nice amount of variation. Like I said, it's not the best variation, but, you know, what can you expect? No car list is perfect. What is here, though, is great. Really, really is great. You know, you could go racing with proper pickup trucks if you really wanted to, or you could go into some Group 5 cars and IMSA GTO cars. You know, you can have a nice drive in the Ford Capri or the Lancia Beta, BMW M1, the 3-litre CSL, stuff like that. There was just all over the place. Also, ignore some of my liveries. You know, there's just so much variation. What is here? He's just brilliant. Yeah, sure, the GT cars, even when this game came out, was a little bit outdated. Also ignore that, that's just the race shop resetting. It does that every 5 minutes, and it kind of freezes the game. It's a bit annoying. But it is what it is. Also as well, you know, so yeah, the cars is there. Also as well, you had the little specialty dealer, which kind of sold cars that you probably didn't have access to at a much cheaper price. So, well, I say much cheap. Well, 150,000 credits off of Daytona's, not that much. I mean, hey, look at this. 1 million credits compared to the 30 million in FH5. Yeah, the economy in this game was actually fine. I had no issues earning money in this game. I mean, obviously now that I've got every single car, yeah, sure, I've got 96.6 million credits, but earning money in this game wasn't actually that bad. Yeah, sure, there was a money glitch, but if you really wanted to, and it's it was a pile of piss to actually do, so you got ridiculous amount of money. But the economy wasn't so bad, because the cars as well weren't really expensive. Overall, the cars in this were really cheap. Yeah, some cars are more expensive, like the Alfa Romeo 8C, which is somewhere. Can I remember where exactly? Probably not. Actually, I'll be able to show you it easier in here. The you know, overall, the cars in this game were pretty damn cheap. If I go the Alfa Romeo, oh, it's in the Legendary anyway, but like, our car was really expensive. Let's have a look. Yeah, 650,000 credits for the 8C. Compared to previous Forza games, it was a lot cheaper. So, you know, there's a few oddities like that, but the most expensive cars in the game, I mean, you know, look at the bunch of the groups, you know, the Group C cars and things like that. They're all, like, you know, there's some, like, they're 1 million credits, but a lot of them are less than 1 million credits. And then, you know, 1.35, 800,000 for CLK GTR, F40 Competizione is 1.2. You know, the Formula 1 car's only 1.5 million, and that's as pricey as the cars will go, is just 1.5 million credits. So, you know, it really wasn't bad to earn money in this game. Yeah, sure, we also did have some Forza editions, which some were actually pretty good, others were just terrible. So, yeah, it was completely fine, and things like that. So, I've waffled on enough about sort of the brief history of the game and sort of the car list. Now I will get on to the main stuff. How the game plays. And this is really where Forza 7, in my opinion, stands. Because I absolutely love driving this game. I can, you know, I stopped playing Forza. You know, I took quite a big break from Forza Motorsport 7. Because I hosted an event for 8 months and then stopped playing it for quite a while. And then I jumped back onto it recently, and I had a smile on my face within minutes. I adore driving on FM7. Yes, it isn't perfect. The curbs are a little bit, well, actually quite a lot skew-with. But, other than that, even if there's cars I dislike driving, there are so many other cars that I can just get in, drive, and be absolute, and just have a big laugh about it. So I think what I'll do, I will get in one of the cars. that I did enjoy driving. Let's get in a Lola that I modified. Yeah, when I was making the liveries, I was having, one of my friends came out as trans, so I decided to show support to her by having this sort of livery. So yeah, I'll get the driving on this game. I absolutely love. There might be some cars I don't like driving, but there are then even more cars that I do enjoy driving. Oh, I've got to be careful about my brakes. I seriously do love driving this game. All the cars feel different, and then when you upgrade them as well, they feel vastly different, and that's what I love. No car really feels the same. Yeah, you can draw similarities, but I can drive this Lola, and then I could build a car that's similar to it, but then it drives completely different, and that's what I love. That's really what I do love. I could go in a GT car and sort of learn myself how to drive one of them, like get in a V8 GTE car, and then I'll then go in, I don't know, the DBR9, and then that drives differently, so then I get used to that, and that's what I love. All the cars just feel vastly different. And if there's a car I don't like, I can tune them. Yeah, sure, the tuning in this game isn't perfect. It's a little bit, again, that's a little bit wacky. I do notice because I have a little bit of tuning knowledge of this game that I have forgotten about because I haven't played it in months. So I'd have to look at the tunes that I've done and sort of remind myself what they did. But ooh, God. Get stopped. Oh, only just. Well, that going. Christ, hitting the wheel on the grass. But yeah, I seriously love driving on this game. Like I say, even if there's cars I don't like to. Actually, to be honest, you don't need me to say that point again. You already know what I've said. So yeah, and like just a bunch of different classes of the cars, and I will just pick one. And just go, yeah, you know what, let's go for a race and let's just drive them, because that is just the great thing. The AIs in this game as well, I can't actually have a good race against them, and then sometimes they'll just, but they are absolutely too easy for me. Yeah, the AIs are pretty easy, but that's just for me, even on the hardest difficulty, because this game I'm not one to boost myself up, but an FM7, I'd like to think I can at least hold my own to some degree on this game. Oh, there's a shift there. I like to think I can, I can hold my own in FM7. I'm nowhere near the best, absolutely not, but I wouldn't say I'm slow either. Ooh, crap. Need to be careful about the braking. So yeah, driving, absolutely love it. Another thing as well is this game. Well, I am playing this on the Xbox version. The PC version of this is, I know, has its own issues as well. There is a bunch of bugs that do happen on that game. So yeah, I'm playing this in the Xbox One version. This game, it looks so goddamn good. It really does. Yeah, sure, I mean, it might be a little bit few oddities. I mean, if you watched my first group race that we did on FM7, when we did a nighttime race, and I struggled to commentate because I couldn't see a bloody thing. Yeah, the lighting, well, on most parts, it's actually, on most parts, I actually do like the lighting. When it goes to like nighttime, when it goes to nighttime, it does get a little bit on the wonky side. As in, when I'm trying to commentate over a race and it's nighttime, it gets a little bit tricky when you can't actually bloody see a thing that's going on. So yeah, there is that. Anyway, we'll actually talk about the replay system, because the replay system in this game is crap. It really, really was crap. For some reason, now, for the most part, I don't have a problem when it comes to swapping cars and things like, when it comes to swapping cars, putting up telemetry, stuff like that, you know, it all works fine, that's nothing about it. What I have the problem of is when it came to actually recording side of things, so this is only going to really affect the people that do, you know, that did that had a multiplayer race and then took the replay and then did commentary over it. It's only going to really affect those people. So you know, a lot of you probably watching this wouldn't give a crap. The main issue with the replay is it would finish as soon as the person that made the replay crossed the line, which is a big problem when you're trying to commentate and then you're one of the ones that kind of finish near the front or you win the race. And then the replay just ends when there's still a few battles going on further back. So yeah, that is a big issue. So that was a huge problem that I wish they fixed, but they never did. So you know, that's a huge shame. But then there is a little bit of a workaround to that, so it is not the end of the world. It's just a little bit finicky. But you know, watching the replays and things like that, it was all fine. Some replay cameras were fine, others were a tad wonky. Oh crap, that was awful by me, bloody hell. Yeah, so, you know, swings and roundabouts really. So, it's just things you kind of have to work around, which, when I saw most of the event, I did work around that, and it was brilliant fun. I did love commentating the races. Because on this game, I found that you could have seriously close racing. Now, of course, you're gonna have issues, a little bit of desync, a little bit of lag, and, like, you know, the smallest collisions can have absolutely catastrophic outcomes. Like, you know, you give someone a light tap, and sometimes, you know, it's just a light ding on the door, and it doesn't really affect the car too much. Yeah, sure, they might run a little bit wider. You know, they might possibly gain a few miles an hour and things like that. So, you know, that part is fine. And then other times it can lead to them being absolutely pinged forward. But that is because of lag and desync. So I'm not really going to harp on that game. I'm not really going to harp with the game that much, because that stuff does happen of multiple issues like that. So yes, that is all of that stuff. The weather system in this game I do like. It is a shame that there is no dynamic weather, like full dynamic weather. Like when you go into event settings, you can select some tracks, which is the other big issue. Some tracks you can set to wet, not all, which I think was a huge shame. The same with nighttime as well. You can only have select day, night, or rain circuits. There's very few that are all three. Like Silverstone originally was just day or rain, and then eventually they updated it so you can actually have nighttime races at Silverstone. And then other places it is literally just you either have daytime or it's raining, which does ruin it somewhat, because the track list in this game is fantastic. It really is a good one. Is it perfect? No, but I've never said this game was perfect in any way, shape or form. There are multiple issues with this game. But the track list, I really do enjoy. You've got your stuff like Bathurst, Brands Hatch, sorry, not Donington Park. That was one of the tracks I wish they added. Lime Rock, Road America, like we're on now, Nürburgring, Le Mans. Just a lot of licensed tracks. Mugello made a return in this, and I seriously do enjoy all of the tracks to race around here, except for Rio. I do hate the new Rio that we got. I much prefer the older Rio that was in FM1, but that's just me. Um, the track list in this game, I really, really do like. You've got Yasmarine as well that you can race at night. So I do wish that there was just a few more tracks that you could race in different weather conditions, but I'll talk about that a little bit more. What's it? You could actually set a race to originally start dry and then go to wet, or vice versa. You can start it in the wet and then eventually go dry. And you can set a percentage chance to have this happen, and things like that. Ooh, Christ almighty, mate. So that I actually did quite like. Yeah, sure, it's not as good as dynamic weather, but it's, you know, you can only live with what you've got. God, I'm gonna have to jump on the outside. There we go. Just speed past the GT350R. So yeah, the weather system as well was fantastic. I absolutely do love the weather system. Going from day to rain, going from dry to rain, or rain to dry, there is a noticeable difference between the two. Yes, the game doesn't have like the need for you to pit to go into wet tyres, or to then go from wet tyres to then immediately onto dry tyres. That doesn't happen. And plus as well, there's no animated pit crews. That I still don't understand. You know, I think that really does put a shame behind, because the animations in this game are good. If, you know, sometimes they might have a little bit issues, some might be a little bit buggy, but, you know, the animations are really, really good. You know, you're seeing the windscreen mirror, like, you know, wiggle around and things like that. The bodywork, you know, sort of bends and things like that. The damage model of this game as well is actually pretty solid. This is actually, it is a damn good damage model for modern games. Yes, the older Forza games did it better, had much better damage models. Cars, they would bend in even more, bumpers would actually fall off, whereas in this we would have, you know, bodywork sort of crumple and things like that, and light shatter and things like that. However, for what we get, it is a pretty good damage model. And yeah, but there is many good things. There's just many positives on this game that I really do love, but there are many negatives as well, like I've been going on about before. But I can't. It's just, I really do forget some of the negatives at times, when I just have so much fun just picking a car and then just going out driving, or just driving on some of my favourite racetracks with a handling model that I really am a big fan of. If I can stop being an absolute divvy. Right, okay, I'm gonna roll the roller, or fail to. Yeah, I'm not even good. I tried to roll the car and couldn't even roll it. Well done, me. That was absolutely pitiful. Right, okay, I'll back out from it, and I'll back up from the lobby, and, yeah, I'll show you some of the track list. Oh, we did as well have a Forza Regulations, that was in beta, never got through, but if you cut the corner and slammed people, you get a time penalty. And, you know, if you cut corners, you got a time penalty, fair enough. It just got added onto your end time and things like that, so there is that. And then if you cause collisions, sometimes they'll get added, but, like, really light collisions, you know, it's fine with. Right, okay, what we'll do is free play. So what we'll do, look at the track selection. There are just many tracks. I mean, obviously, of course, you've got your Bathurst, Bernese Alps, Brands Hatch, Catalonia, Corta, Daytona, Dubai, which I, like many people, aren't a fan of, Hockenheim, Homestead, Miami, Indianapolis, Le Mans, Lime Rock, Long Beach. Maple Valley made a return in this, unfortunately with the curbs all flattened, but yeah, the curbs in this game are wonky anyway. Laguna Seca, Monza, Mugello, like I said, that made a return. Nürburgring, the Nordschleife, the GP. Prague stayed in the game. Rio, I don't like. Road America, Road Atlanta, Sebring, Silverstone, Sonoma, Spa, Suzuka, just a test track. It's more fun when you're doing like tag and whatnot test track rather than the airfield circuit. It's a little bit of a Top Gear Virginia, Watkins Glen Yas Marina. It is a great car. It is a great track selection, and I am a big fan of it. You know, there'd be more tracks of wish. I mean, for what I want bloody Donington Park. But you know, it is what it is. So yeah, I think I covered most of it. Tuning and upgrades, you know, you could upgrade cars. I don't know the ins and outs of it. Painting, some cars is fine, other cars it's a pain in the arse. Option, yeah, it's just, I really, really do enjoy this game for what it is. And, yeah, I'm gonna say that's gonna be it from me. I do enjoy it. I know I didn't do much driving in the game. I did, like, a couple of laps off Road America, was awful at it, and then quit. But, yeah, it's just kind of a look back of the game, sort of, well, I suppose really it's more of a review, isn't it? Really, what I've gone on about it. Yeah, so, I have had some absolutely fantastic races in Forza 7. I do find it easier to have great races and great battles in Motorsport. I always have done in Motorsport compared to Horizon, but in Forza 7 more so, because what I've found is that, yeah, sure, you know, we've had laggy collisions and things like that. However, the small tag, you know, you can rub paint in this game, and a lot of the time it will not affect the car, and that's what I like about it, is that the collision physics can work properly. Also, I'm going to say it can, because it doesn't always. Like, you know, the cars, I can have some great battles with other people, and, you know, we can have little rubs and shunts with each other, but, you know, it really, really does allow you to have closer racing in Forza 7 than really a lot of the Forza games I've found. Another thing as well, with simulation damage, it takes more to damage the aero, which I do like. One of the annoyances when you ran simulation damage in some of the older Forza games is, you know, the lightest tags would just absolutely ruin the air, would damage the aero a lot, and then that was it. Your speed dropped off dramatically. Whereas in this, little shunts and things like that, it's just not going to damage the aero. You're going to get visual damage. It'll take more and more hits to really damage the stuff. Which, you know, which I do prefer. However, that's going to be it from me. I hope you enjoyed this sort of mini review. If you did, I'd be highly appreciative if you did the stuff the YouTube algorithm likes. There'll be a link in the description. Join my Discord in case you will say hello to me. However, that's going to be it from me. And until next time, ciao for now.